Hieroglyphics and medallion. Sacred word.
We just set up our own radar trap.
Okay, we got one coming.
Our spotter at the side of Interstate 595 near the Fort Lauderdale, Florida airport simply watched the traffic and tipped us off whenever he saw a marked police car.
We got a patrol car coming your way. He's moving.
Okay, we're going. Then up ahead, we put two other vehicles onto the road. A radar car into position. The van I was in, and another van that carried our own radar unit, which pulled to the side of the road and was in perfect position to clock the squad car when it passed. The reading on this guy?
I'm on 86.
86, thank you. That's right, 86 miles an hour. And where's he heading in such a hurry? To a local supermarket, where he illegally parks his squad car in the fire lane facing the wrong direction. We got there just as he was leaving. Is this place being robbed?
Nope.
What are you doing here, if I may ask?
Who are you, sir?
My name is Steve Wilson.
And?
We're doing a story about police officers and their driving. You on duty?
I'm on duty right now.
Are you on duty at the moment?
I have nothing to say, okay?
You know how fast you were going on...
Thank you, sir.
On the interstate? Car 124, could I talk to you, sir? He went right back on the interstate, and we clocked him again. When he came back, how fast was he going?
78.
When we caught up with him again behind a pizza parlor, he still had nothing to say. 86 on the interstate is what we clocked. And I'm curious why in a city car, obviously not on duty, you'd be driving at that kind of speed. After I called Oakland Park Police Headquarters to get some answers, his acting sergeant showed up and did his best to cover up for him. Is he on duty or not on duty?
He is on duty.
No, he isn't. The truth is, Officer Pete Lawrence, who was authorized to use his squad car off duty, is actually moonlighting as a weekend security guard at the pizza place. And Sergeant Regan here doesn't really care how fast we saw Lawrence speeding to work.
You may go down to the police station Monday and lodge the complaint. Now, that's the end of this conversation.
Are you not concerned?
With you and me.
Are you not concerned, guys?
Did I just say that ended the conversation?
Here's another off-duty cop, this one racing home through a residential area at 74 miles an hour. When we spotted his car and started shooting it in the driveway, Deputy Jack Castellaneta came out to see what was up. 74 miles an hour? It's a 45-mile-an-hour zone.
I didn't think I was doing that fast. I don't think I was.
And when he passed our radar unit on the interstate, 74 is what we clocked him at there.
It's your word against mine, okay? And I wasn't going that fast.
You don't think so?
No.
You were going that fast.
Okay.
I don't think there's much question about it. Is there a policy on how fast you folks can drive on your way home?
Yeah, there sure is.
And what is the policy?
You do the speed limit.
Now, take a look at this. We're on the windy, dangerous Taconic State Parkway in Dutchess County, New York, and we've got our radar set up again. That New York State trooper just went flying by at more than 90 miles an hour, headed for a meeting with her boss. We got to the meeting long after Trooper Christine Jess arrived. Her commander is Captain Thomas Larkin.
I'm asking you to step in.
He didn't want to be on camera, but privately did not deny troopers' speed when they shouldn't. He said since he would investigate, there was really no reason for us to report this story because it's not good for police in general or the New York State Police in particular. Especially true since lots of folks here in the Hudson Valley still remember what happened to Cynthia Feldman. She was the 51-year-old grandmother whose car was struck on the Taconic by a state trooper doing more than 90 miles an hour for no good reason. Troopers first tried to cover that up by claiming the patrolman was doing only 55 and Mrs. Feldman ran a stop sign. But their own investigation later proved those claims were not true. And New York taxpayers eventually paid most of the $800,000 legal settlement to the victim's husband. The trooper who killed his wife walked away with a 30-day suspension and not even a speeding ticket.
You've paid such a terrible price for a lesson that apparently hasn't been learned.
I guess you can say that, yes.
You sure can. In 2 days of observation here before the police knew what we were up to, every trooper we spotted was speeding. One on I-84 well in excess of 90, and this one traveling well over 80 on the Taconic State Parkway where she passed the very spot Cynthia Feldman died. She is Trooper Yvette Smith.
Are you on a call? You're not. Have you been on the call? I see you're having lunch here.
Well,
have you, you're eating while you're driving? Is that possibly how you don't know you're exceeding 80 miles an hour on the Taconic Turnpike here?
What is this about?
It's about how fast you're driving.
She says she's driving 80, eating fried chicken, and looking in her rearview mirror to check for expired vehicle registrations.
Do you know how dangerous that is?
Of course I know how dangerous it is.
Well, then why would you do it?
I'm a professional driver.
We get calls, sometimes the public calls in, and we investigate these matters. So you're not the first.
See, the impression that I get and the information that I have is that when a citizen calls or writes and says a trooper was flying by me, or I have some evidence that this was happening, you know what they're told? They're told that's a perk that comes with the job.
I don't believe that. Where did you... That's something that has never been said here. We investigate all matters that are brought to our attention.
But that was exactly the response Sergeant James Sweeney is said to have given a citizen who wrote an official complaint last February.
Once they put on a uniform, they feel that they're above the law.
Well, all the police agencies Steve talked would say they will investigate what we have uncovered. And we have much more to come. As Inside Edition continues from Tampa, Marla Maples will be here for a revealing look at a man who can fly, Michael Jordan.
One of the disadvantages of being a role model for so many is that, you know, every move you make, it's got to be the right move.
We have a very interesting combination for you today. Sports fan Marla Maples talking with one of the greatest showmen in America, Michael Jordan. And as Marla tells us, Air Jordan is now going through some ups and downs. Marla.
That's right. Bill, you have to understand, I'm a Michael Jordan fan. That's because I played basketball in high school. But I didn't want to talk to Michael about sports. I wanted to talk to him about his life off the court. Michael Jordan is a master of the game. Last season, he led the Chicago Bulls to their first ever championship and was named the NBA's most valuable player. His miraculous ability to put the ball in the basket, however he shoots it, is awesome, even to him.
It just happens. It's just instinctively it happens, and I amaze myself as much as I try to, or as much as I amaze everyone else.
Jordan makes almost $11 million a year, only about a third of which comes from playing basketball. Where he really cashes in is with commercial endorsements.
Better get your whole grain.
I better eat my Wheaties.
In a time when sports figures keep finding themselves in the midst of scandal, here's one athlete who's the darling of Madison Avenue. They portrayed him as a child's best friend.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
Education's biggest supporter.
Don't be stupid. Stay in school.
And a parent's bundle of joy.
Think Mom would like Mandy? Maybe.
And as if there's not enough of Michael Jordan to go around, he's even been turned into a cartoon superhero. Michael Jordan seems almost too good to be true, and he knows it.
That's probably one of the disadvantages of being a role model for so many is that, you know, every move you make, it's got to be the right move. And if it's the wrong move, then it can be misinterpreted in the wrong manner.
I went to Chicago to see him, curious to know, does Michael Jordan the man live up to Michael Jordan the role model? Everything I found out about him says yes. This is, after all, someone who, after going pro, spent summers to finish his college degree.
I was very fortunate that my parents really taught me what was right and what was wrong.
His mom and dad still follow him to games, just as they did while he was growing up in North Carolina. He's a very private man who keeps his wife and two small boys out of the limelight. To Michael, basketball isn't everything. You have do a lot of charity work.
You know, I started receiving criticism for not giving back enough. And I guess maybe that's because I don't publicize a lot of things that I try to do in terms of giving back to the community. It's just something that I don't seek publicity for.
The Michael Jordan Foundation, run by his mother, has made a big impact on the many children's charities it supports.
When you focus and achieve, always try to pick up the underdog and help them to believe.
Michael believes so strongly in the power of education, he's even endowed his old high school, Laney, in Wilmington, North Carolina, with an annual college scholarship. After all, it's where he got his first jump on the competition. So I bet you never thought you were going to see me on the other end of this ball. But actually, a lot of us grew up playing basketball when we were kids. I played for 9 years competitively in my home state of Georgia. The sad thing is, not all of us could go on to become basketball stars. And in high school, it's tough to tell who's going to make it and who's not.
You know who Leroy Smith is?
No.
He's the last guy to make my high school basketball team.
One of Michael's favorite stories is about Leroy Smith and how he, not Michael, made the varsity team their sophomore year in high school. At the time, Leroy was 6'7", and Michael, even though he was as competitive as he is today, stood only 5'9".
He was just hurt, and I said, you don't give up. You go back in there and you try again. You don't give up, you know, you give it your all.
It helped me deal with a lot of things, and I matured at that time, and I've just continued to look back on those situations and prosper in life today.
Michael Jordan won a gold medal in the 1984 Olympics and is committed to playing the Summer Games next year in Barcelona. But he still has an Olympic dream for his close friend, Magic Johnson.
I know he still dreams of playing in the Olympics.
Yeah, I think that's the only dream that's eluded him in his whole career, which, you know, his career's been unbelievable, but I think that's something that he would have come out of retirement to do.
I just want to say that I'm going to miss playing, and I will now become a spokesman for the HIV virus.
He's very strong individually, and he was a lot stronger than I was when he actually told me, and that really helped me overcome what he was actually telling me.
The day I talked with Michael, this book began making the rounds. It's a gossipy chronicle of a year in the life of the Chicago Bulls, accusing him of not being a team player and demanding special treatment.
The book is basically something, it's for profit, but this is one of the negative things that I say, that you have to look at it in a positive sense. You know, you just continue on down the road as you have, and it's not going to affect me. I just hope it doesn't affect us as a team, and I don't think it will. Good or bad, you know, just accept life as it comes, you know, and try to enjoy it as much as possible.
Marla, what impressed you the most about Michael Jordan?
I think the way that Michael deals with life really impressed me. If ever there's a negative in his life, he always tends to turn around into a positive, and to do the same thing with other relationships with people.
So he's not brooding about the bad publicity?
Absolutely not.
And he's also involved in a lot of charities, right?
Does a lot of great work for people, for kids.
The Ronald McDonald House being one of them.
Yes.
And I know that you're involved somewhat in that, too. Here at Tampa General Hospital, where we are today, they are trying to build a Ronald McDonald House, and they need some money, so if you're interested, you can call them up.
It'd be a great thing to do. They're hoping to have it open in early 1992.
Marla, thanks for that, Pete.
Thank you.
And much more ahead as Inside Edition continues from Tampa. A really big show continues.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and my little chickadee. You ready?
Well, it has been gone for 20 years, but no one has been able to duplicate the entertainment value of the Ed Sullivan Show. And every time they bring back Ed Sullivan clips on TV, the ratings go through the roof. Joel Loy has a look at the latest special.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and my little chickadee.
For virtually anyone who owned a TV set from 1948 to 1971, this was Sunday night, the Ed Sullivan Show.
Tonight we got a real big show. We're going to have a most extraordinary, amazing, brilliant, fantastic, delightful, incredible, remarkable, exciting, hilarious, wonderful, really big show.
He had sports figures and political figures and the great stars of opera and the ballet. And Ed was probably the greatest booker of them all. And there was nothing much in show business you could not see on the Ed Sullivan Show.
That may be an understatement. Where else could you ever hope to see stuff like this? From the crooners
it happens every day. No matter what you say.
to the comics, ventriloquists, and impressionists.
My friend Kurt Douglas, you see, he doesn't like too much noise here, do you, Kurt?
Then it must be a motorbike. No, it's not. No.
I go to bed at night, I've got so much grease on my body, I wear snow chains to hold up my gown.
An appearance on The Sullivan Show was a performer's ticket to stardom.
I gunned for it. I aimed for it. You were a star if you got on that show in a star spot.
America got all shook up when Elvis made his debut. And do you know anyone who was around who didn't tune in the Beatles on American TV for the first time? At the center of it all, the late Ed Sullivan, a newspaper columnist, a man who appeared to be totally unqualified for the job.
You don't sing, you can't dance, you don't tell jokes. You merely introduce acts.
But Ed Sullivan was a genius at knowing just what America wanted to see, from the superstars of show business to a little Italian mouse.
Kiss me goodnight.
I remember that mouse, Topo. And the Sullivan Special is hosted by Burt Reynolds Sunday night. And Inside Edition will be right back from Tampa after this. The latest Masters & Johnson survey in a moment, but first here's what's upcoming on Inside Edition.
On Monday, Inside Edition investigates exploding tires, innocent victims whose lives were ruined, and an industry that has been slow to fix the problem.
These people are being injured by something that is technically possible to correct and should have been corrected many years ago.
That's Monday, and finally today, here's the very close results of yesterday's telephone poll in our series on Masters & Johnson, Sex in the 90s. We asked you, because of our young people's sexual illiteracy, should our tax dollars be used to distribute condoms to teenagers? Well, 46% said yes, and 54% said no. And here's today's question. Because of myths and misconceptions among our youth, should sex education be taught in all public schools? If you say yes, you can call 1-900-346-1000. If you say no, you can call 1-900-346-2000. Each call costs 99 cents, and Inside Edition receives no proceeds from your call. We will have those results on Monday. And that's it for us today from Tampa. Thanks again for watching Inside Edition. I'm Bill O'Reilly. See you next time.